welcome to the Sanguophage survival series on YouTube. A thrilling and enthralling series where we'll be taking Jezebel, the hot, voluptuous... Well, we'll be taking Jezebel, the lovely vampire, and we'll be creating the most impressive, powerful empire you've ever seen and take over this world that we live in. We're going to spend this series and we're going to be exploring the Sanguophage side of the Biotech DLC. We've done genetics, we've done mechanoids. Now we'll be working on the Sanguophage stuff itself with Jezebel and Solus, our two lovely, attractive cons. Jezebel is going to be our main antagonist? Protagonist? I'll leave that one up to you guys to decide. Will be our main character of this series, Jezebel Cook. I recognize that second name, but I don't know where from. She is going to be our vampire and is following the basic vampire gene line: ageless, archaic metabolism, deathless, gene implanted, non-innocent, perfect immunity, scarless, and is obviously vampiric. Alongside this, Jezebel is extremely powerful. She was a medieval orphan, became a stiletto assassin. Thought that was slightly on the more appropriate side. She's a hunter, she's a psychopath, angelic beauty, and extremely good. 20 melee is a highlight for us, and then just kind of good at everything else apart from constructing, mining, and, you know, basic laborer jobs. And we have Solus, her Jezebel's trusty servant and companion, the few that Jezebel has let into her life that isn't a vampire and trusts. Solus is good at all the things that Jezebel isn't. Solus will basically be helping out Jezebel and doing all the jobs that a fine vampire should not be doing. The constructing, the mining, the cooking, the plants, the animals. Solus will be helping Jezebel in achieving her goals, and those goals are very exciting for this series. I'm planning on running a very slave-orientated series this time. I don't condone slavery in real life, I promise, but for Rimworld, it could be great fun and very profitable for us. And I'd like to collect all the different types of vampires in this series. We are playing with the brand new vanilla expanded Sanguophage mod. A fantastic mod. We're not going to be able to showcase a lot of the buildings and things that it adds with this series because we are playing in the medieval era. And as a result of us going for a very slave-dominated economy, we are going to aim to build a slave empire on this map here. We're going to build the most fine empire of slaves you've ever seen. I'm talking ogres, I'm talking impids, saurids, hussars, the lot. And I'd also quite like, as just a kind of side objective, to make an entire prison dedicated to feeding Jezebel blood. I think that would be quite interesting. So if you enjoy any of this series here, it's all an experiment for me. Consider liking, subscribing, and make sure you tell your mum about it. Let's get into things and let's get started learning about Jezebel and Solus. So the map that we're going to be starting off this series is a south-facing cliffside with mountains and hills in the between as well, so we can build a kind of easily defensible location. I want to build like a really big castle. And we're going to build a big castle and everything. We're going to have a town. It's going to be natural. It's going to be all sort of gothic and bricky, and it's going to be fantastic. In terms of key mods that we're running this time, we've got the vanilla outpost mods, we've got Dub's bad hygiene, we've got the Sanguophage stuff. It's going to be a really interesting time. So I should also run through the ideology quickly. We are the Blood Path, and we are the Wanderers of the Blood Path. We are going for a fluid ideology this time around, and we are going with the God Emperor because Jezebel is our holy mistress. We love Jezebel. Jezebel is our thing. Slavery is honorable, with leaders godlike, slow research, and power is exalted. If you want to look at any of the ideologies, just pause and have a look. I've also set up gladiator duels, incantations, and orgies. You know, just the usual things. But otherwise, it's a fairly basic ideology that will be changing as we go. The sun has set on the first night. Isabel and Solus sleeping kind of near to each other because Jezebel lets him. The base is kind of coming along okay. Oh, it's so lovely starting a new series of Rimworld. I'll very, very quickly touch on why we ended the last series of the mechanoids. Basically, I got very bored and I needed to move on. I'm going to give that as the only reasoning because it's a lot more deep than that. So another problem we have with Jezebel is, yes, she is fantastic and she is very lovely, but she got to drink blood. She's got to drink blood in order for her to then be able to continue as a vampire, and we have to drink blood. So what we can do is we can use the drink tool on Solus here. You know, Solus might not be very impressed at this, realistically, while he's sleeping, to be woken up by, is it Jezebel feeding on her? Are you upset by that? Yeah, a little bit, to be fair, only a little bit. I was violated by a blood feeder, like some kind of livestock. Solus, stop. You probably enjoyed it. I feel like I'd probably enjoy it if Jezebel did that to me as well, you know? But that then completely refills her blood. Can we do this all the time? So it gains 20 blood every time we do this. And at the moment, that's going to have to just keep Jezebel going. So Solus is cooking us up a nice, tasty meal. What are you cooking up, Solus? Some raw meat, fair enough, and fat. So you're cooking me a healthy meal of fat and meat. I've queued up as well, and I've just built a small perimeter around where we're living as well. Not that I think that we would struggle against any raider necessarily, but more so, I'm worried about the wildlife. This here scares me. This is a cheetah crossed with a demi-griffin. That scares me. And visitors from the Union of Raleigh have arrived. They are afraid to enter your entry for the following reason: no guest beds and insects. So yes, once again, we are running the hospitality mod as well, same as last series. This time, however, I want to run a tavern. I want people to be going in, drinking, accidentally submitting themselves to Jezebel and doing all those amazing things. We're going to refuse the visitors for the time being until I have guest beds, but that's something we're going to get around later on. And the cheetah demogryph is hunting Jezebel for food. That's not really ideal, is it? And Solus is about to use the toilet as well. So Jezebel is being attacked. What can we do with this? We can do a long jump and jump away. Yeah. Do that. Yay! And somehow that managed to actually damage the demogryph. Wow! So Jezebel jumped away and then hit the demogryph as she did it. She has lost her right second toe, but that's not too bad. Let's get Solus over here and try using his bait. And then Jezebel, just go wild, I reckon, honestly. What have we got? So we've got piercing spine, uses blood power to launch a bony spine at a target. The spine exits through the skin from an opening between the collarbones. Given the method of launch, it's surprisingly easy to aim. Let's try the piercing spine. Okay, that's done something. Stabbed it, okay. And then Jezebel, just go after it, honestly. This thing's running scared. And Jezebel has leveled up. Wow, okay. So you're now level 1. And every time you level up, it will increase the percentage of health for each limb. So at level 1, you get a 0.93% increase, which is very nice. So you did pretty well, Jezebel. Good job. So does Solus lose anything from being eaten? Yes, you get blood loss as a result of it. So I don't think we can necessarily maintain Jezebel's blood feeding stuff unless we get more colonists. So I've now installed ourselves a highly sophisticated, extremely high-tech, very late game researching spot. The most elite when it comes to research speed and research time. Perfect for Jezebel to do all her thinking at. This just allows us basically to start research. So the first research projects that we have access to are Centurion Armor, Bobo Equipment, Bow equipment, and farming techniques. Farming techniques is probably a really good one to pick up. Jezebel has placed herself in the research room thinking long and hard. What is she thinking about? What is this gorgeous woman thinking about? Scarecrows. She's working out how to make scarecrows. You love to see it. And since it looks like we're going to be here for a while, what should we give our faction? We are Jezebel's Jury. I don't know why. I like the sound of that. And the settlement should be given a name. It's got to be a town. It's got to be a city. We're going to turn this into a grand empire. A grand city known throughout the lands. But it's also all in the name of Jezebel, because she's our ultimate leader. Maybe we have Jezebelium. Jesus. Jezebelium. Farming techniques has been complete. Next, rustic furniture, which gives us apparently smithing and royal architecture and rustic storage. Cool. Or we have tabletop games. Leave it for the time being because we have a space battle incoming. Several massive spaceships, which we don't obviously know what they are because we're from the medieval era. This is just something strange that's going on. Have started nearby, so I guess we might be able to pick up a colonist, slave or two. Space battle is ending. We only had one person land and survive. Smelly. Boyan Smelly Mopweg is an ogre, but looks very similar to a pig. So I think we're going to have, as a general rule of thumb with our slaves. What do we do with them? Should they follow our ideology, or should they just be forced into indentured servitude? I personally think that this series, we should definitely convert them, then we should make them our slaves. So back to the research. What are we going to go for? Dark Elves equipment, rustic furniture, or tabletop games? I feel like we kind of need to go for rustic furniture in order to unlock all the exciting things. So let's go for that. And the best thing about having Smelly here, wonderful, wonderful Smelly, is Jezebel has another friend to feed on. Yes. I'm not sure how this is going to necessarily affect Smelly, because Smelly obviously is going to have a far higher amount of blood. But it seems to me that it just has a blanket amount, blood loss moderate, so you're just going to get fed on. Welcome to the life. So we've had a quest come up, stash in the castle ruins. Another thing I want to be doing in this series is a lot of quests. We've intercepted messages about an abandoned castle ruins that contain treasure not far from Jezebelium. It seems 2 man-hunting raccoons are wandering nearby. How long is it going to take us to get there? 0.8 days. And if we just send Jezebel, that shouldn't be too bad, honestly. Take some food with us, we should be absolutely fine. And a raid. A group of subjects from the Hillenhapdor dynasty have arrived nearby. 1 raider. Hello, friend. 1 raider. Okay. Well, this shouldn't be particularly difficult. It's just a 17-year-old peasant. And the caravan has arrived. So Jezebel. The castle. So the 2 man-hunting raccoons just sitting there. We also have a beehive, which is not installed, apparently. Not sure how you can just not have a beehive installed, but hey. Jezebel, search and destroy. Go get those man-hunting raccoons. Jezebel dodges the first. 1 hit kills both of them. There is 75 fine meals, a load of beer, more fine meals. Jesus. Loot beyond belief. There we go. So that's everything here looted up. Let's send Jezebel home and then go see what Solus is doing with the raid. The caravan has been reformed as well. We've taken... Oh, hello, Jezebel. That's a bit... You look very large. We've taken literally all the big meals that we could and then just some of the other stuff. So, Solus, can you deal with Danes here or not before Jezebel gets home? Oh, so the raider has decided that rather than try to go through our walls, he's going to go attack a load of insects with a log. Weapon of choice, a log. And rustic furniture has been complete. We have got passive research turned on, just because research is going to be so slow this series. So next, what have we got? Basic autopsy. Could be interesting for getting more organs. Defense structures, and we have pottery. Let's grab ourselves some lovely pottery. And I've decided as well, I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to dump poo in the pond over here. I thought that this was going to be generally okay because there's already dead bodies over here, so I thought dumping poo in the pond wouldn't necessarily be so bad. Caravan has arrived. Jezebel's caravan worth 4,054 has arrived at Jezebelium. What we could do, which is very interesting, is we could record how much every caravan is worth. And then we could see how much loot we get from these places. I think that'd be a really good idea. I've decided to give Solus as well the plate armor and the steel mace as well, making even more of a viable option to help out around the colony. We should finish for pottery as well. Very nice. Now we can make some nice, lovely pots. Next we have plant props, of course, candle making, and Yuruki equipment. So we've got slingshots from that. Ooh, interesting. Let's go for candle making because I reckon they'd be really aesthetically pleasing just to put around the place, especially when you start upgrading the actual base. That's going to be the next job on the list, is to start working on a quote-unquote castle. At the moment, we've got a lot of limestone and sandstone on this map and no granite or slate, which is my preference. And Smelly has been converted. Jezebel tried to convert Smelly over to her own religion. Smelly was convinced and changed her religion. Nice. So... now begins the time to enslave. Her will is only 2.5, so it's not going to take any time at all to get her enslaved. So now we need to build slave bedrooms. Well, how does a slave bedroom look like? I guess just a room, you know, just a room. Candle making is complete. Perfect. I don't necessarily want to do any more research at the moment, so I'm just going to get rid of the research spot. I'm hoping this doesn't mean that this will continue going automatically. I might be a mod that I might actually remove as the automatic research. It seems a bit overpowered, especially with how low the techs are. If you have any mod suggestions or anything, let me know. I'll get them installed. But the next lot of research is early medieval medicine, which is massive, agriculture 1, and Tyrian production, when we get back to research anyway. So what I hadn't realised with Smelly, the fantastic ogre that looks very, very similarly like a pig, she has the talent of adventure, which is extremely good. It gives a archery accuracy, which is shooting, of +6 and a -15% aiming time of 15%. Absolutely massive. And the fact that she's an ogre paired with the damage multiplier decrease of 35% is insane. Because she is a giant and she is also an ogre, she's also robust and has reduced pain. So we can either make Smelly into an absolute unit of a melee slave, or have her as an archer, which I'm very tempted to do because we have a excellent short bow and a heavy crossbow. Jezebels come in to threaten Smelly. Jezebel threatens Smelly with dismemberment if she behaved impertinently. Yes, Jezebel. Anything for you, Jezebel. And Prisoner Smelly's will has been broken by Jezebel. We have done it. We are now so close to enslaving Smelly. Smelly has been enslaved. Jezebel explained to Smelly that she must work or face punishment. Jezebel has successfully enslaved Smelly. Welcome, Smelly. Welcome to the Vampire Empire. Our first friend that's going to be fed on relentlessly by Jezebel. Let's just have a quick feed quickly. Just blood feeding on Smelly will result in serious blood loss, leaving her unconscious. Are you sure? Yes. Let Smelly know that we are in charge here, not her. And on that note of getting ourselves Smelly, we're going to call things here. Thank you very much for watching to the end of the first episode here. It has been a fantastic time and I'm so excited to see where this series takes us. The medieval stuff's going to be really, really interesting, and the vampire stuff's going to be extremely fun. So if you have enjoyed the first episode of this series, consider liking, subscribing, and make sure you tell your mum about it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.